All right, let's talk about leveling up your game. Today, we're going to break down how you, as a real estate agent, can go from just closing deals to becoming an absolutely essential advisor for your clients. We're diving into a framework that'll help your investors build portfolios that not only grow, but last. Let's get right into it. This quote right here, it just nails a huge problem, doesn't it? We've all seen it happen. A client finds a property they absolutely love, the numbers kinda sorta work on paper, and boom, they're all in. But pretty soon their portfolio just stalls. And you know why? It's simple. They bought with their heart, not just their head. The decision was emotional, not strategic. But here's the thing, this isn't really the client's fault. It's a gap in the strategy, a missing piece of the puzzle. And that's where you come in. As their agent, you are in the perfect spot to fill that gap, to shift the whole conversation from just being an agent to being a true advisor. To do that, you've got to completely rethink the job description. Seriously, you're not just a property hunter who knows a certain zip code. Your real value is as a market guide. You're there to help your clients answer a much, much bigger question. Forget the house for a second. Is this even the right market for your goals? So, how do you make that pivot? How do you actually do it? Well, it all starts way before you even glance at a single listing. It starts with a deep dive into the single most important data point there is, your client. First up, you have to know who you're dealing with. I mean, really know. Are they total first-timer who's going to need their hand held through local landlord laws? Or are they a seasoned pro who's already juggling a bunch of units? A rookie might be perfect for a simple duplex, while that experienced investor, they might be ready for a 5+ unit building. Getting this right sets the stage for everything else. Next, what's the game plan? What's their timeline? Are they looking for a quick flip, trying to capitalize on, say, a new factory opening up? Or is this a long-term rental they want to hold for decades, something near a big, stable employer like a hospital or university? The answer totally changes the kind of market you should even be looking at. And, of course, let's talk about the money. You have got to get the math right from the very beginning. If a client has a $500,000 budget, but they're dreaming of buying an institutional-grade apartment complex, well, they're going to need a serious reality check. Your job is to connect their actual capital to real-world opportunities. So you take all these pieces, their experience, their timeline, their budget, and you put them together. What you get is a crystal-clear investor profile. And that profile, that becomes your superpower. It's the filter you use for everything. Without it, every Zillow alert, every tip, every hot market, it's all just noise. With it, you can finally start your search with real purpose. Okay, so you've got the client profile dialed in. Now what? Now we build an actual plan. This is the framework that turns all that client insight into a targeted, data-driven hunt for the right investment. The very first step is to fight that urge to look everywhere at once. Don't try to boil the ocean. The whole goal here is to narrow down the entire universe of options to just 3 to 5 promising markets. That's it, just a handful of places that are a perfect fit for your client's unique profile. And the process has 4 pretty simple steps. First, like we said, narrow the field to those key markets. Second, within those markets, you hunt for 3 to 5 promising neighborhoods. Third, you start mapping real-world data, things like job growth, population trends, you know the drill. And finally, number 4, you ground every single assumption in the cold, hard reality of today's numbers. Now, this is so important because it visualizes that final crucial step. We have got to move beyond what I call Zillow fantasies. You know, those super optimistic online rent estimates and algorithmic valuations. We have to ground our analysis in reality. We're talking current CMAs, actual rent potential from boots on the ground, and what the true local cap rates really are. But you know what? Even if you have the most perfect spreadsheet in the world, the analysis still isn't done. A property can look amazing on paper and still be a total disaster of an investment because the numbers, well, they don't always capture the human side of things. This is exactly where your expertise becomes priceless. Think of it like an iceberg. All that data on your spreadsheet, that's just the tip. It tells you what is happening, but it almost never tells you why. To really understand what's going on below the surface, you need a different kind of filter. And this, right here, is what that looks like in the real world. I'm talking about driving by the property, but at night. Visiting the neighborhood at totally different times of the day. Actually picking up the phone and talking to local property managers to get the real scoop. This is that on-the-ground intelligence that turns a good decision into a great one.
So when you combine that clear investor profile with a really disciplined analysis framework, and then you top it all off with that irreplaceable on-the-ground intelligence, you completely change the game. You transform your role.
You're just not an agent anymore, an order taker who just goes out and finds properties. You become an advisor, a real strategic partner who helps clients build smart, tough, resilient investment strategies. And that shift in the value you provide, it's absolutely immense. At the end of the day, this is what your clients are actually paying for. They don't just want a key to a house. They want a plan, a real plan that takes the guesswork out of it and makes sure their hard-earned money is being put to work in the right market for all the right reasons in a way that's truly built to last. So the final question you really have to ask yourself is this: what's the end goal here? Are you in the business of just building a series of one-off transactions? Or are you dedicated to helping your clients build actual legacies? The choice and the opportunity is all yours.